You wake up on a Monday fired up. The vision is clear. The plan is written. The alarm is set. But by Thursday, that fire is gone. Not because something went wrong, not because the goal changed. You just stopped feeling it. So you go looking for it. You reread your goals. You find a podcast. You feel it return for a day. But by the next morning, it's gone. So you go looking again. There's a word for that cycle. It's called drift. And if that's been you, if the feeling keeps disappearing and the work disappears with it, you are not broken. Here's what's wild though. The goal didn't change. Your reason didn't change. You haven't changed. But you've been given the wrong understanding of how motivation actually works. And that is fixable. We've been sold a story about motivation. It goes, find your why, get inspired, feel the pull, then act. It sounds right. It even works when it's working. But here's the problem. Motivation is a mood, and moods are temporary. They respond to sleep, stress, what you ate for lunch, whether your commute was easy or brutal. Motivation is your brain registering anticipated reward. It's a signal the nervous system generates when the outcomes seem worth the effort. It's real, it's useful, and it's not designed to sustain. It's designed to initiate. Initiation and momentum are different problems. Motivation solves the first. Training solves the second. And for most people, high achievers especially, nobody ever taught them that difference. So they learned to chase the feeling over and over. And every time it fades, they assume something is wrong with them. It's not a character flaw. That's a training gap. So what do most people do when motivation drops? Well, they go looking for more motivation, more content, more inspiration, more journaling, more getting their head right. They treat the feeling as the thing that needs fixing. And this creates a trap. You become dependent on emotional activation to do the work you've already committed to. You're not building a practice, you're managing a state. Here's what this costs you. Roy Baumeister is a psychologist who spent decades studying self-control. One of his central findings, willpower isn't a character trait. It's a cognitive resource. And every time you face that question, you spend some of it. Do I feel like doing this today? Costs something. The person who decides every morning whether to work out is spending something the person with a Tuesday training block doesn't spend. The cost is real and it adds up. Every time you wait to feel ready, you pay with energy you don't have. In physical fitness, we'd say this differently. No trainer tells their client, show up when you feel like it. The program is the program. Tuesday is leg day because it's Tuesday. Not because you're inspired, not because you feel strong. Because Tuesday is in the schedule, and the schedule is the structure. The muscle doesn't ask if you're motivated today. You show up, you train, the groove deepens. Not because of the feeling, but despite its absence. In mental fitness, it's the same principle. Philippa Lally is a behavioral scientist at University College London. She spent years studying how habits form in the real world, not in a lab, with real people, tracking real behavior. This was her finding. On average, it takes 66 days before a behavior becomes automatic. Not 21 days, 66. And the range runs from 18 days to 254, depending on the behavior and the person. Let me say that again because it's easy to miss. 66 days, 9 weeks of showing up before the behavior starts to feel natural. Which means for 2 full months, you will wake up and you will not feel like doing the thing. That's not a sign you're doing it wrong. That's just how long the nervous system takes to build a new groove. BJ Fogg runs the Behavior Design Lab at Stanford. He spent over 20 years studying what makes behavior change stick. His core finding, motivation is an unreliable driver. The structures that hold are built on consistency, not intensity. Not how fired up you feel, how structural the behavior is. Here's the mental fitness reframe. Motivation is your warm-up. Mental fitness is your training. Warm-ups are useful. They prime you. But if you only show up on the days you feel warmed up, you're not training. You're just having good days. Training means you have a protocol. And a protocol means the behavior isn't conditional on the feeling. Here's the question that separates the motivated from the mentally fit. The motivated person asks, how do I stay motivated? The mentally fit person asks, what needs to be true so that I don't need to be motivated? Notice which one pulls on you more, because that second question changes everything. It moves you from chasing a state to building a practice, from managing feelings to making decisions that remove the question entirely. The people whose consistency you most respect, they don't spend every morning deciding whether to do the thing. They decided once, months ago, and now the behavior is structural. It's in the schedule. It's in the environment. The motivation question doesn't come up because the decision has already been made. You're not building willpower. You're reducing the moments where willpower is required. That's not a small distinction. That's the whole difference. Now, here's where the idea gets misread. This is not about grinding through everything with no feeling. This is not toxic productivity with a science citation attached. This is not just be disciplined culture dressed up in better language. Your feelings matter. When you're exhausted, that's data. When something feels wrong, pay attention. Rest is a training variable. The distinction is this. The work no longer requires a mood to start it. You can feel tired and still do the rep. You can feel uncertain and still show up. Because showing up is structural now, not conditional. When motivation shows up, it makes the rep easier, but the rep happens either way. And here's what's actually wild. The feeling almost always comes after you start, not before. That's not a platitude. That's neuroscience. The emotional reward signal your brain generates from completing an action. That's what builds the groove. You don't wait for the feeling and then act. You act. Then your brain learns that acting is worth rewarding. You can train this. It gets easier. And when you do, drift stops having the final word. Here's your rep for this week. Step 1. Name your conditional. Write down one behavior you keep waiting to feel ready for. Just one. I'll start when I feel motivated. That's the conditional. Name it. Step 2. Remove the decision. When in your week does this behavior live? Not when I feel like it. What day, what time, what exact action? Schedule it once. That's the decision made now, not daily. Step 3. Do the smallest version. When that moment comes and you won't feel ready, that's the whole point. Do the smallest version of the action you can. 5 minutes, 1 page, 1 set. Not to accomplish the outcome, to cast a vote for who you're becoming. Step 4. Notice the sequence. The feeling followed the action. It didn't lead it. That's the rep. One behavior, one block. One small action in 1 week. Not because you feel like it, because this is training. Motivation is real. It's also unreliable. That's not an indictment of you. That's the truth about moods. Mental fitness is what you build on the days motivation doesn't show. And sometimes it does. When it does, use it. But on the days it doesn't, you already know what to do. You build the structure. You do the rep. You show up on the days it doesn't feel worth it. Especially those days. Because you were made for more than your best mood day. Over time, the behavior stops being something you do. It becomes something you are. You move from drift to drive. Not because the hard days stopped, because you learned to train through them. That's not hustle culture. That's not just be disciplined. That's mental fitness. If this landed for you, share it with someone who's waiting to feel ready. They might need this more than you did. And if you want the next step, subscribe to this channel or go to getforte.com. This is what we do here.